Hello everyone, welcome to today's update. I'll be covering both cybersecurity and non-cybersecurity updates today. In terms of cybersecurity and the active warfare between Russia and Ukraine, on the cyber side, the Ukrainian CERT, which is the team responsible for finding incidents related to critical infrastructure in the country, found out that there is a new malware called Indestroyer 2, which is trying to infiltrate its electrical infrastructure. And this malware is designed to go after their electrical substations, any Windows or Linux operating system based equipment there, as well as other network equipment. Now, the difference between regular malware and this malware is that this malware is capable of working and understanding the industrial control system or the industrial part. Now, typically in the IT world, we generally rely on the TCP/IP as a protocol, which allows us to access network capabilities using any system. In the industrial side, however, there is a different protocol, or there are actually multiple protocols. In this case, there is something called as IEC 104, which is used, and the malware knows about this, and how it knows how to operate around this. Now, this malware is supposed to come from a group called Sandworm. Sandworm is supposedly part of the Russian intelligence group called GRU. They are known for a lot of active malwares across the world. Okay, and this specific malware was found in the infrastructure on 8th of April, actually reported on that time. But once the analysis was done, it was found to be created on March 23rd. Okay, and what this does is it once it executes, it follows the process of wiping out the system, and nobody knows how it got there, but the CERT reported that the Russian actors or Russian threat actors, they are trying to spearfish, which is using email to infiltrate Ukrainian systems since 2013. Okay, so this has been an active technique, and this is not the first time they have been attacked. The first version of this malware was found in early 2016. Okay. In terms of other malware, last time I reported that there is a new vulnerability, springshell. Now, what is there's a malware found which is utilizing this vulnerability or weakness in the software, and what this means is that this specific malware is trying to get these systems that have this vulnerability added to a botnet called Mirai. Now, what a botnet does is it's a controlled system, controlled thousands of systems by a cyber criminal, and they can use these systems, infected systems, to carry out new attacks, mine cryptocurrency, or use it for whatever purpose. As of now, the infections have been found only in the Singapore region. Now, there is another malware which is found, which is targeting AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is also known as serverless functions based service. What this means is that typically you need servers and applications to run your application code, but with AWS Lambda you don't need to run those, and you just use your functions and pay accordingly to AWS. So in this specific malware, which is the first instance in the world to our understanding, this malware is a crypto miner. It's codenamed Denonia, and it was running inside a AWS Lambda environment. How it got there, nobody knows. It's under research right now. But what this implies is that hackers are getting smarter. They are trying to understand cloud-specific knowledge, and this will only go worse because attackers are spending a lot of money to understand this. Okay, so we should do the same. We should learn more about the cloud world as well as specific threats in the cloud world. Okay, I believe cloud SecOps will take over very soon. Okay, In terms of newer malware, Windows 11 got launched in October 2021. It gave a functionality where you could run Android-based app. However, at that time only Amazon apps were supported, and what someone did is they created a toolkit or a software called Windows Toolbox on GitHub, and it allowed you to run, or any user to run, Google Play Store based Android apps. Turned out it was Trojan horse which downloaded malicious files, and it could download other files which would be malware or any other thing, and this it would capture this application would capture end users data. As of now, it was it has been found that it's used for generating ad revenues, which means it will redirect and open URLs of third-party site, which let the author of this toolkit make some money. Okay, but Windows allowing this functionality could mean that cross operating system platform based malwares would be available as Windows 11 gets mainstream. Okay. In terms of breaches, there is a company called Snap-on. They make automotive tools. They reported that they've been part of a breach, and this is essentially a Conti ransomware based breach. So Conti is a cyber criminal. It's a group of cyber criminals, and essentially they make money by spreading malware. Okay, and so in this specific breach, information like employee names, social security numbers, date of birth, and other identification number have been stolen, and Snap-on reported this as part of the data breach notification in the California region. They have listed out certain measures that they will be taking. So a most common practice to monitor the usage of these stolen data on internet. There are a lot of companies who provide that service. Now, there's a hacker group or threat actor group called Hacker Gang, which has launched a malware called Zingo Stealer. Now, Zingo Stealer has been free for some time, but right now the code is being sold for $500. Code means, which is essentially the basic programming logic of that malware. It's available online. What happens in such cases is that malware writers, people who are specialized in writing this malicious software, they would take that code and modify it based on their requirements and sell it further. Okay. Now this group has been using Telegram and Discord apps to distribute updates, and very actively working for development. Now this malware has been known to steal credentials, cryptocurrency, use the victim system for mining. Okay, and it's been found that right now it's focused on Russian-speaking territories only, and how it gets distributed typically through game cheats or key generators of software or pirated software. So stay away from pirated software. Don't install them. You are actually getting malware free with all those cheats. On the good side, what's happening is that there has been takedowns by Facebook. Actually, Facebook came up with their first threat adversary report. As you can imagine, they get millions of threats every day. People trying to get into Facebook infrastructure to steal information of people like you and me, and Facebook is tracking that information. They came up with this report in April, second week, and in that report, two key things they've done is they found two cyber espionage attempts from Iran. Both the attempts were shut down. These included a group called UNC 788, which targets Middle East and Saudi military, some specific generalists around the world, and there's an unknown group which targets specific sectors. Okay. So they've been tracking this information, and they call it coordinated inauthentic behavior, CIB. And what this approach does, they look for campaigns which is a group of accounts and pages seeking to mislead people about who they are and what they are doing while relying on fake accounts. So then they remove these pages and groups who are involved in this activity. Okay. In terms of second takedown, Microsoft has taken down domains used by Russian spies to target Ukraine, and these domains were operated by a group called Strontium, aka Fancy Beer, aka APD28, and they are again linked to Russia's GRU intelligence. Okay. They were reported to compromise the Hillary Clinton campaign and some of the other campaigns in US, and this group was in this case targeting Ukrainian institutions like media organization as well as government institutions and some of the think tanks based responsible for foreign policy in US and Europe. Okay. And Microsoft got a court order and took down 7 of these domains. They also took down the infrastructure of a Trojan called Zloader. Now, Zloader is not a new malware. It got its lineage from a popular banking Trojan called Zeus. I remember working on Zeus some time back for testing perspective. It was attacking one of our customers, and this Trojan has evolved over the years. If you refer back to the example of Zingo, or the Haskers group malware, who selling source code, people typically leak source code and or they sell source code, and this is used by the hackers to build a smarter malware. So Zloader has been a tool of choice for a lot of attacks, and it can disable security tools like antivirus. It can capture screenshots, steal information, steal the password saved in your browser. So be careful on that. There are malwares who do that, and it is offered something unique called access as a service, which means if somebody has been able to infect thousands of systems, they can sell those thousands of systems to other groups for other purposes. So example, let's say I have a group of 100,000 machines under my control over the world. I can sell 20,000 of them at a fixed rate, let's say $5 or $1 per rate, to other group which can use these systems to spread ransomware and eventually make more money. There can be multiple things around it. Okay, and as you can imagine, the standard ways of this malware getting into our systems is either email or going to a malicious website. But in this case, they are using malicious search engine ads, what this means is they have created fake ads containing malware around specific keywords, and so example, they're using Java, Zoom, based and Discord based keywords in specific regions. So if you search for it in a particular region, it will take you to a bad or infected website, and your system will get infected. So that's how smart they've become. In terms of acquisitions, 2 interesting acquisitions happened. One is of done by Thama Bravo for SailPoint. So SailPoint is identity security company. They're very popular for identity governance software. And the second one is Fortica by KPMG, which is a cloud security consulting firm. Okay. So as you can imagine, identity security is needed by any big company, because it's very important to understand access rights, and often misuse of access rights or permissions in the infrastructure lead to breaches. Okay, and in terms of cloud security, that's growing. It's going to grow only as workloads are moving to cloud. Also now, in terms of the other TechVerse news, Elon Musk offered to buy Twitter. I think you all know it, this by now. He currently holds 9.2% stake in Twitter, but he wants to get all 100%. Vanguard is another company which owns 10.3 stake. So he's not the biggest shareholder. So Twitter board is trying to fight that up. Typically in such cases, Elon Musk will work with a group of people to buy the entire bunch of shares available on the private offer, on the private side. Okay. Now also NFT based news, if you recall, Jack Dorsey's first tweet was sold for $2.9 million last year, right? And it got listed for resale for $48 million last week. Unfortunately, nobody wants to buy it. I mean, the value is right now, the last bid that came as of recording was $18,000, so that's like 99% drop in the value. right? So be careful if you're going towards an NFT. Understand why you are buying it, what's the purpose behind it, right? And in terms of metaverse news, a company called Genie, they make virtual avatars. They got funding of $150 million from a company called Silver Lake, a very popular private equity firm, and this company makes virtual avatars for celebrities. So they've already done that for Rihanna and Westbrook, and they claim to have 99% celebrity avatar market share. Okay, so what this means is, whenever there is a celebrity who wants to use their virtual avatar in a virtual concert or some other platform, they go to Genie and they make virtual avatars. Okay, so this makes it a unicorn with this funding. So interesting concept. I'm sure more companies are there in this domain, but Genie definitely has a head start. With that, that's it for today. I'm thankful to all my sources. Thank you for listening to this. Keep sending me emails using information I provide in the podcast or my YouTube channel. I'll keep covering good stuff. Thank you so much. See you next time.